Hello and welcome. Hiya, Nancy's. Hey, gamer. I am laughing at gamers and my previous conversation here. Hey, Goldheart. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I am slightly tired today. But yes, welcome. I have not really gotten too much of anything I have planned for the last 2 weeks. I am I've learned quite a few things in a short period of time, but now I'm at a bit of a more complicated hurdle. So I'm trying to get together some videos, but also it's not complicated videos or anything like that. More like some, what do you call them? Time lapses type things. And I've also had lots of ideas, just art-wise, which is one of my problems. I get started on my piece and I work on that, have really fun with that, and then I happen to game or see something or get whatever idea, and then I need to get that out, and then I get started on that, and so on and so on. So right now I have quite a few projects laying, and I thought I was going to start with some of those. I can't remember, did I show you guys the adventure mouse last time? I can't remember if I actually did that. I'm just going to transition you. You too, huh? Says Goldheart. It's always been one of the things I've struggled with is I have quite a few ideas. I often have ideas and I just need to get them all out before they disappear from my head. So I rarely lack the muse, so to speak, but I often feel that either I'm lack the skill or I don't have the object or whatever, and so sometimes it's frustrating not being able to get out all your ideas, so you have to simplify them and such. But I have been working, but I can't remember if I showed you guys the mouse. But this is how far I've gotten with the adventure mouse that was inspired. I think we did go over it a quickie last time. From inspiration from playing Ghost of a Tale. So nice of you, Nancy. Thank you. And then this one I need to adjust the lights on a bit. And I am thinking of giving her some ears and a foxtail. This is one of the newer set that came out recently. It was really beautiful, so I had to give it a quick try. This shouldn't, I think I'm almost done with it, so hopefully I can get that one out soon. And then this is slightly Stray inspired. Uh, just slightly. Therefore the cat. And mechanics, if you say. His name is L for alternative life form. He's basically the last man on Earth, yet he's not fully a man because he is mostly a cyborg, but his majority of his brain is intact and his face. The rest of him is just purely robot, synthetic, therefore the alternative life form. I want to get into more sci-fi and such, but it's not such an easy subject, actually. And I don't know, I'm just very, very picky, so I want it to be, of course, good, and I try to emulate or look up to the artist that I've seen, but I can't get the result that I'm like it enough. But I do love concept art, and this is one of the concepts. So we will see. I have no idea how far I will take it or if it will go anywhere. But I wouldn't mind if there was a way to. I mean, there is of course work for concept artists and such, but if you're not a traditional concept artist, or not just traditional, I mean in sense of what tools or medium you use, but there are those who, are awesome as concept artists, can throw together quickly um, scenes and buildings and all that. But for us who, have some ideas here and there, uh, I've always been thinking if it was possible to somehow do these concepts, and then people who have trouble coming up with the ideas but may be good at, once they have a base to go on, they can create worlds or whatever. If you could perhaps license or sell that concept, and for those who were in need. But of course, then IA comes along and such things, and that will help a lot for people who don't have the skills. But there will always be people who choose those who are artists, of course. So yeah, I'm just pondering of ways how could I make use of my concepts, because I have a lot of concepts laying around, but I'm not an artist in that sense that I do same things or story over and over or continue, since I get so many ideas. And I'm not a writer, so it's hard to know what to do with them at times. And I would like to share with them, of course. So, but I'm not sure where he's going to go. I just know that I like the red and the grays. And then I tested out a quick little scenery and see if I liked it or not. It's very dark, so it would need to be adjusted if I were to go with this. But just right now, I'm just trying out some bit different things with him. So today, oh, I had one more. The Queen. This is a kit bash of outfits, so it's several different outfits. Hi Jeremy, welcome. This is majority is Aeon Soul's outfit. I wanted to see how many or how different I could combine them and how they match in their colors. And since they often show samples also from the different outfits, how you can do them together, that's where I was like, ooh, I gotta try that. And this is what has come about. She's some sort of elven queen, or maybe not queen, just a ranger. No, not ranger. What was I thinking? Oh, I can't remember the word now. But I'm thinking that she needs to have a deer of some sort. I know Des has the new reindeer, so maybe I can do something, change that fur color a bit and make the horns bigger. I'm going to see what I can do with it and put a saddle on it. So I'm thinking, from Legolas' dad in The Hobbit with his big stag. Something like that, maybe. So those are just a few more things I have come up with since last time. But today we are going to work a bit on my lighthouse keeper. Thank you, Jeremy. I have some short stories, horror short stories that I want to get down and get some imagery for, and he is from one of those. This one I haven't fully completed. I need to put some details together story-wise. But his story is going to play out on a stormy night. It's about a lighthouse curse where each amount of years a lighthouse keeper is found drowned inside the lighthouse. How that happened is how we're going to find is what we are going to find out in the story, if I can get the story down and be happy. Nancy's Laurel, Stormy Nights. So yeah, I am planning on doing some dforce on his outfit today and see how that goes. I haven't worked with this lighthouse keeper outfit before, so I have no idea. I have mixed him together and I need to fix his nose also. It's a bit strange at the upper part. I would like to be able to get that fixed, but I haven't really found the right dials for that. And then I also got something started today. Stonemason came out with a new set called the Pirate's Cove, which I just fell in love with. It's really beautiful. And it can be combined with his medieval set. Just need to do some adjustment, but the houses from his medieval set and this are almost not identical in terms of architecture, but they go together in style and everything. They're almost the same looking, just a little bit of differentiations. But so one can make, if one want to do much bigger scenes, you could probably combine them. That's what I was trying and see what it would look like if I want to make up some really big scene, because I have a pirate ship, or a sunken ship with lots of greenery on and stuff like that, and it would be cool to do a very big scene someday with the ships and all that in the ocean and such. But so I was playing around with this a bit today. This is the overall. It's quite big. It's really beautiful. And down here by this little what is it, left side, I had moved the scene around just a little bit, so when I loaded the cameras, I got a slightly different view from what it would have been if you load the scene directly and then the cameras. And I really liked this view, so I decided to simply do something inspired from this particular view. So I put a little crab in it. There's some fishing gear. I need to change that. It's an old one, so it's not iray. It looks black and plastic, for example. And then I put in some dates and palm trees. These are not the trees for the actual dates, but it just fitted better. And this is fantasy, so my thought is to have a island girl pick dates and maybe her grandfather or something handling something with the fish. So I might, depending on how the lighthouse keeper goes, by the end I will definitely load this up and show you a bit around in the scene. I've added some monkeys to it. But yeah, so it's basically a Misc more chill stream today, because I simply couldn't get things done as I had planned. So I was a bit like, what should I be doing? And I'm also in a gaming mood, and I've been gaming for about 30 years, so since I was about 15 years old. And I quite love gaming. And there hasn't been as much gaming the recent years, but now and then I get in the mood and I can game for days. I did a 13-hour Baldur's Gate run not too long ago. So, plus I play on the PlayStation at times, and I've been in a very much gaming mood. Gamer has introduced me to Wasteland 3, and it's quite fun actually. So I've just discovered that. But so here is my lighthouse keeper, and my idea is I am hoping that I can also use him for animation test. I would like for him to have a portrait style, or maybe either full or portrait style, maybe both, where he blinks or like looks to the side and blinks a bit, and with smoke coming out of his pipe, which he has. Got a smoking pipe here. So this was an old pipe. I changed the texture on it with a wood shader, and then I had a medieval wall brassicles I downsized to fit, but it's for like a braziers. You can see the flames here. So I would like to have an animation type, not like advanced animation, but like him sitting while looking and blinking, and then have the short story going either by text or, well, with text, maybe spoken also, depending. But try him as an animation test and do something moody, cinematic type thing. while he tells a story, because I want the story to be told via his journal entries. So, for example, it starts with him waking up for his day. And so the first entry would be like, on this day, woke up, the sun is shining, had my breakfast, didn't start out well, the egg yolk broke, something like that, you know. And then as the day progresses, his journal entries progress or become more, and things starts to happen throughout the day. And then when the night is over, the story is over, basically. I'm not sure completely how I want to go about it or so, but so for now I just want to do some images with him, because that will help me inspire for the story itself too. So I got the story. What was I watching? I was watching the old Fog, I think it was, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do Lighthouse Keeper." And then as I was dialing him in with the different figures, his story, the idea of this lighthouse curse came about. So now I want to do it. Mark, are you still going to do the Minotaur fountain thingy? Ah, yeah, absolutely. Yes, because I have that written down. I have an idea list with some things that I want to do. So I was looking for trying out my Minotaur not too long ago, and he works pretty good. It's still in Iray. So yes, the plan is to get there. Just don't know exactly when, so I'm not going to make any promises. But yeah, so as we can see, he has his pipe with a bit of glow in it. So that's Brazier's coal that I simply downsized and put into the pipe. So it would be cool to have some smoke coming up and him blinking and looking in a like animation thing. I had turned this off because we are going to dforce. So I don't want anything in the way for that. That will maybe collide with the outfit, because then we are going to have an explosion of cloth on our hands. But firstly, I am just going so I have used let's see which one we have used most of. So I have used Merlin 8.1, about 45%, and then the Necromancer 24, along with HD details on both on them. Then I have a Joseph, who is from Renderosity, about 12%. He has some good sunken in cheeks. And then I have Senator Greaves on about 24. And then I got Chuck, Ichabod, and Samuel, and a little bit of Ollie. And then we got a bit of the wizard, a bit of Dasan. And I've added some facial lines, aging lines, to his forehead and around the eyes to get a more aged look. So yeah, it's he is a mix of many different characters. Body-wise, it stays on Ichabod, Chuck, Necromancer. The Necromancer is very thin and looking. But so he is simply a mix. Now I am going to remove his hair because I don't want anything interfering. It's a mix of different hair. And a mix of different mustaches. Because of the different shapes I'm using, this when the beard is attached to him, it tends to dysmorph a bit. It looks really thick and not the straw based. It's way too blobby. I don't know how to express it or explain it. And I couldn't really fix it, but I simply put a second mustache on him, the same one, but instead of having it parented to him, I posted in to where I wanted it and put it just slightly above the other, so when I rendered it you don't see it. Especially if you don't know it's there, then you can't see it. So that was my trick for that. But I am removing everything there. Let's see, what did he make? He also have the long beard and he has a beard base. And that is the R.Y. Frederick, which is a full beard, beard base, long beard, beard mustache and eyebrows. You think the pipes, it looks pretty good. Thank you, Jeremy. Good to know. Jeremy, I had the same issues when using character creator. Laying a facial hair was the only way to get a convincing effect. Yeah, it's made for the base figures and that, and like Chuck that I have using, for example, has some more extreme features. Ollie has some prolonged features, and since probably because it is a mix of a lot, then when it is parented, it sometimes can get a bit too sensitive and stretched or compact like that. The guy looks like he's been paying for pictures of Spider-Man for 40 years. So I'm going to need a chair for him. A lighthouse keeper chair. I picture a simple, more like kitchen chair design maybe. So I just need to see what I got. Something like that could work. That could perhaps work. Oh, here we have it. I think this is it, I think. So what have everyone been up to during this weekend? Have you done anything fun or educating? Have you been working? Yeah, no, I think Medina, no. This one perhaps could also be something. Not sure what the difference are on those. Let's see. That one we can remove. Remove that one. Yeah, either that one or this one. But going to start with this. Just gotta make sure my man has some briefers on so I don't show anything that YouTube do not want. Oh, and also, I am not sponsored by DAS. Just a disclaimer. Let's see. So, I just need a quick plane, create a new primitive, and I create a new plane. I'm going to use that as a floor base so I can see everything matches up. As you may notice, I do not have any music today because I realized that since I have it's copyright free fair use list by Alexander Takada on YouTube. But since I hang quite a bit on YouTube, I also tend to change the volume depending on the videos and so on. So I realized it's kind of hard to control what volume I have each stream. So I need to see if it's okay to download the playlist and then play it that way, because then it will be much easier to control the volume. So until I figure that out, don't know when, I thought, yeah, you guys just have to do with me, and if you like to have music, I recommend you put something on in the background that you may think fit for this, perhaps. Some dark lighthouse moody music, winds and rains and storms, perhaps. Right now I'm just going to figure out which chair will be the easiest one to work with. I wish the other chair was as tall as this one in the back, but the curve in the seat may help us. Or will it? I'm not sure. Nancy's, I've been experimenting with watercolor crayons and canvas pads. I tried gouache on canvas, and then read that it isn't a good idea unless the gouache has binder, otherwise it'll flake off. Ah, interesting. But lovely painting with watercolors. I have watercolor pens, crayon pens, from when I sketch and draw a lot. They're pretty cool. You just add some water to them and you can get different effects. I really like that. So let's see, I need to hide his pants. In this case, it may be easier to dforce his. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Sometimes coats and such can be complicated, and especially depending on how much they are bending. But the pants are also dforce. And if it goes down too much in the chair, then it's going to explode. Now we see that his butt is definitely going into the chair, but that's one of the things that's really hard with sitting position in these and that. You have to have a squish morphs on the butt cheeks if you want more of that effect. And there are some scripts. I think I do have one, so I can adjust a little bit, but it's hard to get like a natural as if you were sitting down. But the most important thing when simulating dforce is that limbs doesn't touch limbs. So for example, his thumb is going into his thigh, his leg, and that will cause an explosion. There is no room for the cloth. So one has to keep in mind that when deforcing and simulating, you are telling the object to react as an outfit, as a cloth. And of course, if we have everything together, there's no room for it then. So usually you have to make sure that if you have any limbs touching each other, that you make sure that it's just a little bit space in between, so there is space for the fabric to settle. And to see with this chair. It's pretty good like this. I'm just not sure which chair I like the most now. Maybe this is better. Here we can see it's a sub-level 2. I can take it up all the way to 4.8. That means we can make this chair in pretty high quality. Mark, are you going to simulate the pants on that chair? Well, I'm going to try and see what happens. If it doesn't work, I'm simply going to simulate the pants without the chair and then freeze the pants once I simulate the coat and all that. You can get some really fun explosion with the fabric. But yeah, so you can get really high quality with this chair. So if we then have a close-up of him and zoom in and want to see the chair a bit also, then we're gonna get a pretty good quality on that. But it's also going to take down the rendering time. The better quality, the more time it takes. We got a pantless old man here, with me pondering which chair to choose. Oh my god, it's so hard. Why is it so hard to choose a chair? I don't know. But forget it. I'm going with that one. Yes. Okay, we're going with this one. And then I just gotta make sure his feet is as they should too. But I need to get this thigh up a bit. I can just see a tiny squeak in between. I think that will do. But now his hand is going in, so I have to adjust that. If we do not do this, we will get an explosion. So basically I took it too far. Eh. About there. Yes. Save. Just in case. Sit him on a barrel. Well, the plan is to have him inside his lighthouse, sitting by a window and table, like kitchen area, with maybe a open fire or stoves, something like that. I want him sitting like in a moody room, with some lights coming in from the window. Gamer, upskirts be damned, that's sexy. Mark, when I simulate traces and move the figure up in there and forward and the chair and move back, then I simulate the timeline and move them back to the original. Yes, I am going to use a timeline for this because of his coat. It's the coat who is going to be the most difficult thing. I'm probably gonna need more space. Oh yeah. It's too bad it doesn't seem like you can open the coat. It would have been nice if one be able to open the coat. But yeah, I just realized I also need space for the coat. But it's a bit hard to see when it's not simulated how much. So I'm probably going to have to make this like that maybe. How much buttocks do we have on the chair? Yeah, that looks like it's pretty good space for it. The chair do look tiny though against him now. Which bugs me a bit. I don't like that though. What about this? Can we... I thought we had something good going with the chairs, but... I'm just going to take a quick check. But I don't think I have any higher or chairs that has a lower seating but higher back. Nope. Oh well. Let's try this one. Let's go with this. Because the other one looks... Does it look too tiny? I think I need help, guys. I'm not sure anymore which chair should we go with. Put your pants on, man. So this chair, the wooden chair, or this chair? What fits the best? But I mean, this fits better in a lighthouse, right? What do you mean, Mark? Control D. Okay. I think for now this then. Okay, I think this has... Let's just try it and see where it takes us. I'm going to say... Yeah, no, I still have to fix the feet. So it is technically, if we look at the plane, it is on the ground. But because his feet go through the invisible ground, that's why the shadow looks like he's standing above ground. But also there is no ground when I render in preview. I have removed the plane then. I'm just using this plane to make sure that the legs and feet are at a ground level. And since he's going to be sitting in a room, so there will probably be a room floor then. So I'm just using the plane as a floor guide. looks, his toes looks a bit twisted. But something like that for now. It's not that important, since we just want to be able to simulate. I want to see how easy or how hard it's going to be to simulate this code. Oh my god, my PC is not working with me right now. Something like that, perhaps. Hi, Neville. How are you? Well, I don't need to. If I just turn on like the floor, I can have this show floor, but that won't help me to see the more fine detail, which is why I'm use a plane just to have as a floor base. If I were to render without a scene, and just go as you see it in preview, then I would do it slightly different. Wait a minute. I just need to see. Yeah, we can. Nope. Okay, this. Let's hope there's enough space. I think there should be for the code. Maybe around the fingers, we will see. We may have to hide. Oh yeah, see, now I almost forgot. We have this, his elbow. His elbow is going into the leg, so that would definitely have caused an explosion, which we do not want. So we gotta give that space too. Good to hear, Neville. All these buttons are worrying me because sometimes such can cause some troubles too. But we'll see. So pants, shirt, coat, and jacket. Okay, let's do this then. So, I do not need the plane. What I'm going to do is go to my panes in window and take out my timeline. going to total 51. I have no idea. I've just been recommended by some vendors that in a more complicated situation, a good base start is around the 50s to start with. So I'm just going to trust them, their expertise in that, and start out with that. And then I can always do more or less if it's simple or more heavier. So I'm going to see my chair. So I think we're going to start with trying to from down and up, but we can also let it slide in. But I think we're going to try. So I'm just going to copy this. And then I'm going to pull this down. And I'm going to go to 25. And now the chair is on minus 45, but then I'm just going to paste in what it was. And then let it go to the full. So when I pull it back now, the chair is going to move. So this is just a simple way, and so that I'm going to try. And if it works, then yay. If not, then we have to get a bit more complicated. So I go to my simulation settings and simulation and current frames to simulate. I'm going to choose animated, use time light play range. And hit the button and see where he starts out. Yeah, now I can see. So he's going to start off. I didn't get the chair away from him enough, so that may cause the coat to get caught in the back seat. So I am. Wait. Maybe it would work. It seemed like it was. I'm just going to try anyways. But yeah, I may have to move it back a bit too. We will see pretty quickly if it gets caught or not. Some items are really sensitive and others are really good, but it does look like it's going to hook on. The downside of simulating and such is the waiting. Sometimes you get to wait for quite a bit and then it explodes and then you have to start all over. Hi Yoshi. Welcome, welcome. And thank you to anyone who's peeking in and watching. And for the thumbs up, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And I hope everyone is doing well. Tonight is just a Misc chill stream. I'm trying to simulate my lighthouse keeper. See if I could get him sitting in this coat. Ah, no. It did look like it started out well, but now I can see the coat is starting to lift itself, so that may mean it's getting stuck, perhaps. I was probably too optimistic. Now it's getting caught. The other downside of simulating is that it makes my PC work quite a bit and it gets hot. Please stop simulation. So, what's people plan for the weekend? Are you working on any art pieces or projects? Do you write? Do you create? Yoshi, I'm so tired. We had a wonderful 8-year-old party for my youngest granddaughter. Aw, happy birthday for her. Hope she had a fun time. I hope you get some good rest then, Yoshi. Kids tends to drain you of some energy at times. So I have canceled it, but right now it's working on canceling. So if I press anything, it's going to get the hiccups. Come on, I've canceled, and yet he keeps moving. See, I should have stopped when I did the first time and listened to Mark. But I wanted to see if I could do it or not. Why is it keep going when I told it to stop? I haven't been in Marvelous. Is it fun? Is it good? What is its main purpose? It's for modeling, right? There are so many programs I would love to learn, and I would really like to learn to model, but then who would do the art? Maybe someday. Come on, it's still. Stop it. Yeah, okay, so that didn't work. Oh. I am in focus mode right now. Wait, how do I... 210. Keep it down. How do I keep it down? Preferably, if I can simulate all the clothes at once, I will do that, since his hand is supposed to like rest on the arm and that, so we get a little bit of impression. Okay, so I removed that. That key, so I can redo it. Okay, so go down, go back, and then we go to 25, go back to that, and then get it to where it was. Hang on, I can't. There, and then we do it. And then hopefully I can simulate. Yep, let's try that. But if I can't simulate them all together, then I would simulate the pants and the jacket for itself, and then the coat. But let's try this then. Yeah, so now at least it's not going into the back of the chair, so hopefully this will work better. Sometimes it's a lot of trials and errors. And some outfits are really complicated. However, I wouldn't simulate hair and outfit together. I would simulate the outfit first, then freeze that, and then simulate the hair. I have never had a successful clothes and hair simulation at once. But hopefully this will simulate okay. You have to have a lot of patience when simulating and such. I hope I got the chair far enough back. I'm not sure what angle it is. I can't move the camera around right now. But I do love dforce simulation, because before that it was really hard making pieces with people sitting and such, unless the outfits had morphs, and then you had to have certain poses usually for it to work. So that was for me the only thing that Poser had an upper hand in, was their technique in that. But everything else was unfortunately not as fun or easy. So I think that's why chose DAS more. It was just in general more easy to figure out. And then luckily came the simulation, which changed the game a lot, since you could expand your posing a lot more. And some outfits really look really, really beautiful when simulated. So once this uh, pop-up window here has gone almost all the way, then the timeline will start. And then you, let's say no explosions, it runs smoothly. Then I can still go back and do changes if I want to. And if we get an explosion midway, then we can just slide back and see uh, if we can see perhaps where the arrow is causing the explosion. So we can move the timeline once it's done. But yeah, the downside of these things is just waiting on it. So entertain me, people, while I wait. Tell me your stories. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not good at these things. I usually have some TV show or movie or music or something going in the background. But I can tell you a little bit of the story, perhaps. So my idea was, I'm not sure if I'm going to go with like every 60 or 70 or 80 years or whatever with this lighthouse. It used to be located in on another island just by the coast or where the current lighthouse is standing. But the mirror light and stuff that they use to light up, I can't remember the correct terms for it, has been moved from the previous to the new one. So parts of the old one is still there. But this is the first time since the last incident that this stormy night occurs. And it's not your usual storm. It's a bit of a supernatural storm. Good, Neville have some music in the background. And I was thinking that as he go about his day, he will run into some clues, things that he sees in the corner of his eyes, and finding like a dead seagull, which I believe is a not a good omen, if I remember correct. As the storm starts to get worse and darkens, and then he starts hearing voices and such. But he's a rational man, and he's been a lighthouse keeper for many, 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 many years, and he knows how the wind and loneliness can play tricks on the mind. Gamer stuff, my story. I'm a homeless ex-marine who races cars, play video games, backpack the Appalachian Trail, and fixes restaurants. Nancy, Stephen King-like. Yeah, something eerie. I'm thinking maybe slightly Lovecraftian, maybe, which fits the coastlines. I want it to be like a short story, so nothing advanced. Microsoft Bing's Chat GPT. What is that, Mark? I did read about the godfather of AI, the man who created, I think it was like a chat box thing, AI chat box or chat thing, together with two students, and then sold it for something around $44 million to Google. He is apparently considered the godfather of AI, and he said that he semi regrets it all. uh, Not because of the tool itself. The tool itself is quite awesome. But in terms of what can be done with it in the wrong hands, and it will most definitely be in the wrong hands because it already is in the wrong hands. That's why he regretted that they came up with it. But at the same time, one could say, but if he hadn't, then someone else would have. But yeah, it's a ethical, moral. It's not an easy question, but the tool itself is quite fascinating. Yoshi, where do I live? I live in Sweden. I live in Torshälla, Sweden, the town of Thor. It's believed that Vikings came from all over before in the Viking days to worship Thor here. It's believed this is where he resided, which is simply explained by the fact that we are surrounded by water, canals, and hills. So it's prone for thunderstorms and thunder, lightning and stuff. And so back in the day, there was quite a lot of it. And perhaps that's how it became naturally that they thought this is where he was. And maybe some Viking maybe have said that he was Thor or something. I mean, if we think about how may a legend have come about, how would Thor the legend have come about? Maybe some tough Viking with a hammer, and that happened to strike down a bunch of people when there was a bunch of lightning. Maybe that's how the legend came about. I'm not sure. But this is the town where they thought that he resided, and they had offerings to Thor here. We have a place called Torshari, which is basically an offering for that. It is a sports football field and stuff like that. You can run track. It's close by woods. That's where I experienced earth wasps, going on a orientation hike with my class. We were orienting in the woods, close by that. It was the woods at Torshari. And we had just come across a creek that wasn't visible because it was overgrown with a lot of weed and grass. And we were a bunch of girls that had just found it and avoided it. And we knew some guys were coming. And then the guys came and said, "Yo, where do we need to go?" And silly me thought, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna play a prank." It was my first prank ever, also, should be noted. And I pointed towards the creek. "Yeah, it's on that side." And they ran straight into the creek, and we all laughed. And I took a step to wherever, and all of a sudden I was overswarmed by a nest of earth wasps. I had stepped straight on it, which was also hidden among a lot of grass. So the noise and the force of them, I had long curly hair to my waist, and it was like my hair just swoosh up like a fan of wasps, and the sound was quite deafening. It sounded like they were inside my head. That's how loud it was. I was lucky though. They got quite entangled in my hair, which probably saved my face. Because I was lucky and only got 4 stings altogether, 3 in my face, and I did look like I had gone around against Mike Tyson after. But it could have ended so much worse. And it took about an hour for the teachers to get all the wasp out of my hair. And I did get a phobia against them. I haven't been stung since then. It was in 7th or 8th grade. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was at 7th grade. But I haven't been stung since then because I run. So when people say don't run, yeah, I don't care. I run. And I haven't been stung since then. So, but my phobia for them has gotten better. It's mainly the sound for me when it comes like on the TV and that. It makes my skin crawl, and I like feel the crawl on me in my hair and on my head. So, but then one summer, when I had a German Shepherd for 11.5 years, Luna, and she enjoyed being out on the balcony when the sun had started to set and the concrete floor started to get cool. But then all of a sudden she started getting annoyed, and she would come in, and I noticed there was a lot of wasps around there. And I had a table with a wax cloth on it. And I noticed some wasps coming in from the table or under the table, so I lifted that, and it turned out there was a wasp nest there, and they had built quite a bit. So I panicked and called my ex. I was like, yo, help me. So he came over and got the wasp nest over. But it took a while before they left because they were used to coming back. But you need to get they have like a little scent thing in the center which helps them locate it. And if you get everything scraped off, then they will know that it's gone. But it took a few days before they stopped coming. And during that time, I don't know what it was. It's just the phobia started to settle a bit. But the noise, if I hear something that sounds like a wasp or a bee, then I'm gone. So now the timeline has finally started. Let's see what... So this is also one of the negatives with some clothes. For whatever reason, it falls through the item, and I do not know why. And I'm not sure how to fix it either, actually. Mark, do you have any tips for such? Because it went straight through the chair, which it shouldn't. Let me just catch up. Nancy's my family and I got lost while hiking in Yosemite. Good thing you found your way back. Hope nobody got hurt. German Shepherds are the best dog. I used to think Rottweiler were until my eldest daughter adopted a black GSD. He's the smartest, most gentle I've seen. But he hates other dogs. Yeah, my girl, she was a bitch against other. She would always make sure they knew, like, yo, who are you? What are you here? And if it was a male, then she was like, okay, okay, okay. As long as they didn't bitch back or anything, she was okay with them. But if it was a female, then she needed to make sure that, like, this is my territory around the canal, especially. She liked to speak a lot outside, but she never barked inside, not even when it rang the doorbell. So sometimes people thought that she wasn't at home when she was. But yeah, so it rendered simulated to K, but for whatever reason, the chair decided to. I don't know if it's because it didn't get enough space, but if we go back with the timeline, here we can see how it pushes straight into, and I'm not sure how to fix that. Oops. Can I put the coat over the chair, like in... And isn't it in... Where here? No. General. Doesn't it have like these, what's it called, mesh? When you have something you can, maybe it's in general. Here? Ah, mesh, smoothing. That's what I was looking for. We do not have cicadas here, luckily. I do not do big bugs. And I'm thankful for living in cold environment when it comes to big bugs. Yeah, tweak the numbers of collision maybe, yeah. I'm gonna see if it... it helped a little at least. Not fully. But it can just... It helped a little at least. And let's see. We have this collision and smoothing and see if it maybe helps something. Nope. But then we can technically probably just do this, maybe downsize it slightly. And worst case scenario, I would, instead of fiddling too much with it, I would probably just fix it in post-work or something. Otherwise, it's so easy to get stuck in these details for hours, which I often do. But yeah, I think this semi works. It does fall nice, pretty nicely. But I didn't have the floor on. So I would have to simulate it again. unless if I wanted to fall down on the but since I'm not going to use this, I don't know what type of, I think I know what room I want to use, but I think that flooring has some stone flooring, so it may be uneven. But at least we know now that uh, with the smoothing and collision, it can be fixed. And there is still space left. I kind of do want his leg. I think his leg is up a bit too high. So I will probably change that. Did it change back? Yeah, you can see now that it's because I changed the size of the chair after. If I go back now, then the chair will go back to its original size. And we don't know how it will fall. It may not actually fall the same way once I change the leg a bit. So I'm going to use the floor then too, so we can see how the coat falls on the floor, even if this is not technically the floor I will be using. Let's see, I want it down to, no. Yeah, I think we can actually move him down a bit more. I can't see for that. Is it the shirt or jacket? There's quite a bit of space. I think I am going to take him down just a little bit more. Yeah, have you also sometimes, I don't know why, lately I have started to have some things like hook up to the knees sometimes also. I'm starting to get some, but that's been mostly with Genesis 9, so I don't know if it's something in that figure. I will be scaling later, but since I had to still scale once to make the jacket above the chair, so to say, I don't mind moving him around a bit either. But then again, yeah, no, he will fall there. This, I think, will be Yeah, okay. But I am not going to put you guys through the waiting again because I have about 20 minutes left to stream. So we'll pick this up next Sunday. Since I am going to show you the cove scene. So I'm going to fiddle with that in between a bit. But at least I think we're getting somewhere with him. Just going to save this as never live in South Australia. How you doing, mate? I saw Bondi Beach today. Did you know they have about 40,000 people coming by? I think it was each day. It's working. Can't do anything right now. But I'm going to sit and fine tune his pose, and then next Sunday we will simulate this again and see how it works. I had hoped to get in a little bit more further, but that's what you get with me. Details. I get stuck in the little details. But it's part of the process and what makes it fun. So, just going. This piece. Worst I had to deal with as a Marine were sand fleas. As a civilian, I live in Florida. I'm in America's version of Jurassic World. All them gators. But yes, so this was Stonemason's Pirate Cove. Just out. So currently it's 30% off because it's new. After that, it goes back to full price in a few days, I would guess. Probably over tomorrow, I think, since it's Monday then. So, what I've added is this palm tree and dates along with a plant and this flower. I've added this basket with the dates, and this is a dried fish rack, but the colors kind of fit it pretty well with the dates and such, so people can take it as they want. They'll have to use their fantasy imagination to what it is. And then I had this old fishing basket and these fish. So I have to find a proper shader for this one. Maybe we can have some fish in it. And then I have this little ghost crab. So what I want with it is a island girl who are picking dates, and maybe her grandfather or something alike sitting and dealing with the fish. But I just started this today, so I wanted to show you guys. Oh yeah, I also hang these glass balls to give it some decoration. And I've added some monkeys too. I just needed to load. But I hope it was okay stream. Not that much happened. But I didn't have much of a plan going in because none of my plans really been as I wanted it to go for the past 2 weeks. But I did get working also, so that's good. I made some money. The Iray Uber base shader, yes, but I don't think this has an actual texture really, so it still wouldn't do. I have some good wood texture I'm going to use on it. Ah, Nancy is living in Okinawa. Cool. It's from the, I think the fishing net is from the old lake village. It's really old. Uh, but it's pretty good set still though. It has some, it has those, I think that's from where I got the fish basket. Yeah, I think the fish basket was part of the props. And this one. And the rack here also. It has some hanging fish racks. It has some weed, hanging weed racks too. So it got some stuff that you can use and take into your scenes. So I'm going to do so you guys can see what it looks like with the monkeys on. I have one question of the fishing scene. How do you get the house in the background to have the dusty light effect to it? You mean these background here? So here we can see the monkeys. They're a bit out of focus since the camera focus is in the middle. I'm going to change that later on. But these are silver keys, old monkeys. So they're many, many years old, but I thought I would check them out and see what it looks like. Maybe change them color a bit in Photoshop so they stand out a bit more. They're a bit too out of focus right now. So the way to get the dusty look in the background, I'll show you. Oh, no. Give me a second. So in environment, I have matte fog on. I'm not sure if there is an since stonemasons sometimes have atmospheric or fog. No, mist. Nope. Dust. Nope. So let me just check terrain. Yeah, no, it's just in the fog here. Matte fog, visibility on 1,000, then it's a blue, darker blue, and then matte fog brightness 50%. Wait, where did it go? So that gives you that a bit foggy, dusty look in the background. And there's a monkey here and a here. So if we go to the scene, we can see them here. Here's one monkey and here's another. But you can't, they're a bit too out of focus, so we don't see them as clearly in the image. I need to change that. I also want to try and add, see if what it's going to look like if I add some more water, its own water, to get a more blue effect. And I do have, you know, the beach with the plankton that illuminates. I have such a thing, but the problem with it takes a lot on the computer when I use it. So thus far, I haven't really come to a good scene where I've wanted to use it, and this is too light. But I do have such that I can add if I want to make a evening scene, for example. But yeah, so my plan for this, add some human to it, a bit more flowers, and play around with this overall scene. I want the girl to be picking the fruit. And then weather-worn older man, darker skin, like weather-worn skin, and grayish white hair. He's been a sailor for a long time. So we can just, oops, I zoomed out. Because I am using a camera that came with the stonemason set. I'm using his camera. So when I render, I want to render it in 1920 times 1080. But because I am using his camera, it's not actually changing size to what I want. So it's rendering in 1900 times 937. So that means in order to change that, I have to go into the camera here, I believe. Dimensions. And change it here. It's not all cameras that does this. I don't know why some of his... oh, I need to take off contain proportion. I don't know why some of his cameras does that. It's just some sets I've come across that. I can't remember if it's his only or what, but I don't think it's his only. But so now that I've changed in the camera dimension itself, it should render the size that I chose here. But so in case people have trouble and don't understand why their image isn't rendering in the size they choose, they can check the camera and see if it has another setting. Just need to find my scene. It's way over here. Out on the peak. So because I had loaded the scene in, and then I moved it around a bit, and then I loaded the cameras. So I got slightly different camera angles from when you originally load the set. So I don't want to go too far back. So these green and red are the focal points. that's where it's going to be most in focus, and that's probably around here where I want the girl, and then the male is going to sit here. So they are going to be in the most focus, hopefully. The one I want in focus is where I'm going to have the green marker, the green red. But I want to see more of the monkeys, so I'm going to move these, which will give me more. The longer out, the more in focus the background will be, and the closer, the less. So if I try something like this, maybe. And I'm just going to try that water that I wanted to try also. I want a little bit more. I really like the coastline of the water. It looks nice with the, but I want to see what else I can do, if we can give it a little bit more. Splash. This is SY rippling water. I absolutely love it. And right now I'm into water for some reason. I do not know why. I want to play with water. Also, it gives up some really nice light and effects. It is invisible, so I will not be able to see it, which is why I highlight it in the surface. So I can approximate see where it is. It looks like, oh, there we have. Now we can see it a little bit at least. It's slightly opaque. And I can see that the crab legs goes into it a bit. Let's try that simply. And I am going to make sure it's highlighted, because there are some shaders. So I can get it blue, colorless, and green. I'm going to try with the green and see what it looks like. So yeah, we're almost at the end of the stream. Do we see anything? Yeah, not really. Maybe I need to take it up a bit. Now we got a little bit more. I'm going to raise it just slightly more. There. Try the green, then we get some color in it. This is the colorless. It looks really realistic then. But I kind of want some color with it. Okay, so we can see it's in the transmitted color that it changes. The rest kind of stay. So I can try and change it to my own color if I want. Let's see if we actually got what a difference it made or not. I hope I haven't missed anyone or questions or so. If I have, I apologize. Yeah, so apparently it was on top chat, not live chat. I'm sorry, Mark, I didn't see. So it doesn't affect the foreground. Yeah, you can put in the settings. I'll show you soon. It does look like... I'm not sure if the... No. So this is what it looked like. And if I add a bit of extra water, then we get this. I kind of want the water higher up maybe because the plan, it looks like he is trying to drink the water maybe. So I'll play with that perhaps a bit. But yeah, so basically what I want is just to liven it up more. So I'm going to quickly show you, take away everything that I have done with it. This is what it looks like just without anything. And then I've added some palms with some dates in it. And a few plants. And then I added some things. And we have added a crab and the monkeys. I'm not fully sure on the monkeys yet if they are to stay, but we will see. So yeah, with let me turn these off so I can show you better. It will go a bit quicker then. So with this matte fog, you have the matte fog visibility and the brightness. Let me see what it does. So if we turn this up, I just got a bit brighter simply. Yeah, so it's simply the brightness of it. This is what it would look like then without, and the brightness. So we can turn it down a bit. And this is the matte fog visibility. So now it's just in front of the camera. But if we can there, then it's more in the foreground now. So now you can see that it's more foggy than as we go up. So it's via the matte fog visibility. And then we have the brightness. And we can turn it off. So without just going to get it back to where I was. And you can change the color, of course. So if we go pink, we get a green fog. If we go yellow, we get a blue purplish, red, white. Yeah. You can get some really cool result. And it's the easy way if you don't have like the different fog or mist um, stuff. Oh my god, I'm losing my words tonight. Products. Since there are some pretty cool mist and fog, but this is a easy good way to make it. Yeah, just experiment with the dials simply. There are so many dials that one can try out. I just recently started to just, okay, I'm just going to go the extreme one way and the extreme the other way and see what happens. So recently I've started to play a lot more with burn highlights, crush, and filmy, so all of those exposure just to see what kind of effect. But some things are just easier to adjust and fix in post work than having to go through tons of dials here. But yes, this was it for me tonight. So thank you all for stopping by and for any thumbs up. It's been a yeah, not much happened. I simulated, had you waiting a bit. Thank you, Mark and Yoshi, for the tips. I think Neville too. So next Sunday I will probably continue on the Lighthouse Keeper. I just have to check out the his posing a little bit more, see if I can get it, and then find the room that I want, so we can simulate it for the right floor also. And with this cove, we can maybe then see how far I've come if I have continued on it. It depends a bit what happens during this week. But I hope everyone has a good Sunday evening or Monday morning or day, depending where in the world you are. Neville. And yeah, take care everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. Take care. Bye.